Hi everyone, I'm Avantika.
And I'm Sadhika, and we are the founders of Lead Mojo.
So, Lead Mojo is a platform where we share content in terms of scientifically backed tips, recommendations for anyone in a leadership or a senior role. And essentially, it is to help leaders build better teams and healthier work cultures.
So today we have a very special guest with us who will be speaking to us about what it is like to be an entrepreneur in today's world and running a business as a woman leader. Radhika is the founder and president of Every Infant Matters, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting disadvantaged children worldwide. Its flagship program, which is really interesting, is preventing blindness in children by providing them access to good nutrition and, most importantly, vitamin A. Since its inception about 4 years ago, it has successfully prevented blindness in about 50,000 malnourished children, which is very impressive. And Radhika believes in inclusion. She believes in health equality. She is a Forbes Asia 30 under 30 honoree and has many other accolades to her name. So we're very excited to have her today. Welcome, Radhika.
Welcome, Radhika.
Hi. Hi, Savika. Hi, Avantika. Thank you so much for the stellar introduction. I don't think I deserve that much of praise, but thank you.
Thank you for
Deserve much
coordinating with
more.
us over three time zones and being here.
That's completely all right. And so lovely to speak to you guys.
So, Radhika, today we
Perfect.
just want to understand more about your experience as a woman, as a founder, and through the lens of research backed data and statements. So, how it's going to go is we'll just read out some crisp statements from research papers. And what we would like is to just understand how true or how untrue that has been in your practical experience.
Our very first statement is that there is a lot of data and empirical evidence that suggests that for a woman, the decision to start her business depends quite largely on her socio-cultural background. So, Radhika, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that has meant for you and for Every Infant Matters?
That's a very valid statement, Sarika, and I feel like what this particular research point is saying is quite relevant when it comes to females in entrepreneurship, particularly because as a female, particularly in an Indian socio-cultural setup, it's not expected of you to do your own thing or go out of your comfort zone to start something that is as brave or as I would say it's a gutsy move to start social entrepreneurship with a lot of risk, ups and downs, question marks over what people will say, what your relatives will say, that you're 29, you're not getting married, you're focusing on stuff which is not routinely focused on by women of your age and in your social cultural setup. So I feel like as compared to someone, say, in the United States or someone in the UK or someone in New Zealand, my situation being an Indian in an Indian patriarchal setup tells me that what I've done is not going to be accepted by all around the people all around me. They're not going to completely there are going to be a lot of talks in the society. There are going to be a lot of rumors going around that what is she doing, why is she doing it, and what is all this Forbes and all that. So that happens on a daily basis for those of us in this Indian setup, and I believe that even if you're in an Indian family abroad, you face it as well. So it's just something that is very, I would say, it's very unfortunate for women in India that we are faced with a lot of resistance. We are faced with a lot of comments which are not always nice, and it's not routinely acceptable in the Indian social cultural setup to have a entrepreneurial setup of your own of any kind, let alone something which works in four countries and involves a lot of networking. It involves speaking to men folk from other countries. So that's not something which a lot of the people in India, specifically if you go towards the peripheries, I'm not talking about the metros here, you go towards the smaller cities, those areas would not accept it at all. So yes,
Yeah.
The decision to take up something like this is based largely on your social cultural setup. Then of course your family setup and your immediate background also plays a very important role, because you don't have the luxury to start or do something of your own which you really want to, if you have responsibilities which tell you to focus on other things. So suppose you have children, you have a family to feed, your god forbid, your partner is not supporting you that much financially, then you don't have this privilege of taking undue risks with your career, which touch wood I had. So I think that pretty much sums it up.
Awesome. But no, definitely, Radhika, we really relate to that response. I
Yeah.
think you don't follow the traditional route. What is expected of you completely changes. So that makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to read out the next research statement now. Evidence shows that women may have more of an advantage when it comes to practicing leadership styles that promote team engagement, morale, and productivity. While male leaders tend to be more task oriented, female leaders tend to lead with empathy, emotional intelligence, and are overall better communicators, all of which are competencies that, according to research, are strongly associated with superior leadership capabilities. What would your thoughts be on this statement?
I think I agree, because where as a woman, I always see the the strong women around me leading from a position of love. And I feel like that is a very big strength and a very big edge that as a woman we have over male counterparts. And that is something, we should really harness. That is one of our core strengths: to be kind, to be empathetic, to be compassionate, and to love beyond words. So that is something we should totally harness and apply it completely, in our work, in our life, all the time. And that does make for a good leader, because you factor in human emotions, and you factor in humanity, and it's not just a mechanical venture that we're looking at. But at the same time, I also feel that when the other part of the statement said that the male folk are more task oriented, I mean, no offense to all the boys listening, but I feel like the females are slightly more task oriented when it comes to having a work, because, when it comes to having a work life balance, because they need to multitask.
Yeah.
What Indian society and
Right,
society
right.
in general has upheld for generations now is that the male is a traditional bread earner of the family, and the female counterpart is the traditional child bearer, and she has to take care of the house. And of course that trend is changing now, with almost all of us working or engaging in things other than housework. But at the same time, I believe that all of us working women have to really have a balance of work life and family life. We have to multitask a lot of times. There are women who have to take their children to work. There are doctors who bring their children to work. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to take me when we didn't have, we couldn't afford a babysitter or any kind of help. So my mom used to take me to the hospital, and I used to hang around the operation theater and chill with the nurses. So it's a very task oriented life for women. And what we see around us is that women succeed at having this work life balance. So when it comes to the research point, I think I slightly disagree with that.
Yeah, especially that part on
Yeah.
the women leaders being less task oriented, right?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
That's a very interesting take, and you mentioned a lot about what is expected out of women, and just something things that kind of have become synonymous with being girls and women in society. And that actually leads me to our third statement, which is like you mentioned, a wealth of research also shows that women leaders generally face a lot of opposing contrary expectations. So they're expected to be warm and nice and very forthcoming, which is quite largely the societal traditional expectations. And then you have expectations from leaders. They have to be aggressive. They have to be very very confident and competent and tough.
Yeah.
So I think where that leaves women is, and of course, what research has also backed up is that there are very contrary expectations. It kind of sets off like a catch-22 situation for women. In your experience, where do you stand with this statement?
I think what this statement is trying to tell us is that it's like two completely opposing aspects of someone's personality that are supposed to coexist if you are a woman in a strong leadership position. And once again, I'll come to how, as women, balance is what is needed out of us for our own mental health and for us to be successful. So even though, I do agree that you have to be kind, nice, considerate, of course. And at the same time, you have to be a little strong and level headed yourself. I'm not saying that we have to be angry or temperamental, but just to be a little level headed and, very clear, and have that guts in you to actually stand up for yourself and voice your opinion, which a lot of women all around the world, and specifically in India, don't have. Because as a leader or as an entrepreneur, tomorrow if I'm running a venture, and there are people who are messing up, or there are people who are not delivering as much as they should, so I need to be a little strong handed and a little harsh with them, because otherwise they just take me for granted and walk all over me. Ultimately what happens is that the quality of work suffers, which in my case leads down to the poor not getting what they rightfully deserve. So you have to have that balance of both the aspects in your own personality, in your own head. Of course, you have to be very careful that you should not go to extremes of being angry, and not go to extremes of being nice either, because that in the long run is detrimental to both to yourself and to your venture. So I think balance is what keeps the cosmos in motion, and let's all strive to have a well-balanced, well-rounded personality within ourselves if we want to lead from a position of strength, and be powerful women, be strong women, just be strong individuals in general.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I also
Very
think it's so
true.
important to change the norm that a leader needs to be tough and aggressive, and to also promote the idea that a leader can lead with empathy and emotion. Just whether it's male or female traits, it's just a very important thing to kind of promote and talk about. So definitely agree with that point.
Right. And I feel
Right.
like that's the way to lead, with empathy, with love, and with
Mhm.
kindness.
Love that.
Very, very true.
Thank you so much,
That's
Radhika.
a good.
It's been so insightful. Thank you for sharing all these experiences with us.
Like, the pleasure
Uh,
was all mine.
Yeah,
As I told you even earlier, we really love the
absolutely.
work that you're doing. It's so inspiring, and we're going to continue to cheer you on.
Yes, please do. Please join Every Infant Matters, and
Yes, we will,
let's
definitely.
together smash the Patreon.
Absolutely. We're going to be supporting you through and through, and as Vantu said, cheering you on through and through. Need more people like this who kind of are doing everything in their power to make such a big and important difference. Um, But to everyone else that has watched this video, we hope that it was informative and fun. And for many such videos and science-packed content, make sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our Medium publication.
Yes, also, if you guys want to hear about any other workplace related content, backed from a science perspective, just let us know, write to us, leave a comment below. We would be very excited to hear from you guys. So definitely do that, and have a good week ahead, guys. Thank you again, Radhika.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Avantika.
Radhika.
Thank you,
Bye,
Sarika. It was an
everyone.
honor to be featured. Thank you so much.